Long before he was the supreme commander of the Confederacy. Long before he was the feared Jedi killer of the Clone Wars. Long even before the galaxy was at war. General Grievous had already been hailed as a demigod by his own people, an unstoppable force. Born on Calais, Grievous was an unusually gifted tactician and warrior, shaped primarily by his species' long, bloody war against the invading Yamri. His birth name was Kamayan Jai Shilal, and his reputation as an expert sniper grew even while he was but a youth. By the time he had reached maturity, he had already killed hundreds of Yamri and was a hero of the Kaleesh war effort. Yet where Shilal was, his closest comrade and fellow Kaleesh warrior, Rondero Liege Kumar, followed. According to Kaleesh legend, their relationship had its beginnings in a dream, in which Shilal saw himself slaying a wild muumuu in the Kumbal jungle with lig swords. So taken was he with this vision that the next morning he set out to kill one in reality. But instead of finding a muumuu in the jungle, he saw Kumar. This was when he realized that the slayer in his dream had not been himself, but the woman standing before him. Many of the Kaleesh therefore saw the two as living manifestations of the Kaleesh parable they called the Dreamer. The two were, quite literally, blessed by the gods of their ancestors. As such, the camaraderie of the two Kaleesh was legendary, and together they mercilessly destroyed the enemies of their homeworld in countless campaigns. Yet as all things must someday come to an end, during one battle on the beaches of Calais, Kumar and Shilal were separated, and not long after, Kumar died at the hands of an invader's barbed spear. Her body washed into the ocean and was never found again. Kumar's death broke Shilal. He fell into an inconsolable depression, and manic despair dominated his life. He threw off his Kaleesh armor, surrendered his weapons, and set off on a journey across the ocean to Upsemi. There, he beseeched the gods that had given him and Kumar their blessings in the past to raise his comrade from her unfair and watery grave. But for the first time in Shilal's life, the gods remained silent. While Shilal attempted to bury his grief, he found neither wives nor children, neither friends nor isolation, could fill the void Kumar's death had left in him. Eventually, he realized that it was his destiny to mourn his friend for as long as he lived. With this in mind, he cast off his old self and adopted a name more appropriate to a being destined to grieve forever. And even more terribly, who was determined that he would not do so alone. He would be Grievous, as well as heartbroken, for the rest of his life. Cold rage flowing through his veins, Grievous not only chased the Yamri and Huk off Cali, but continued on to take the fight to the invaders' homeworlds. There, he massacred millions, warriors, civilians, women and children alike. He left their worlds in utter destruction and committed bloody genocide against their people. Eventually, the horror of Shilal's vengeance became so great, so terrible, that the Republic itself was forced to intervene. The Jedi Council sided with the invaders and crushed Grievous's forces, and hefty fines and ruinous embargoes then came upon the Kaleesh. In the end, Grievous's people ended up in poverty. Yet during his exploits, Grievous had attracted the attention of a powerful patron. San Hill, chairman of the intergalactic banking clan, offered the warlord a simple trade: his services in exchange for the banking clan resuscitating his impoverished planet. He agreed, although hesitantly, and took control of the clan's private army of droid soldiers. Over the next few years, the IGBC, largely through Grievous's efforts, aggressively collected overdue debts from a number of prosperous worlds such as Ord Mantell. Yet when Grievous learned that the Huk had launched a counterattack on his homeworld of Calais, desecrating Kalish burial grounds on the colony worlds, he abandoned his contract with the banking clan and returned to exact his revenge. But San Hill was a dangerous man, and conspired with Poggle the Lesser, as well as Darth Sidious and Count Dooku, to assassinate the Kalish warrior. Although the attempt failed, it utterly crushed his body, and when Grievous awoke, it was to the sight of Count Dooku and San Hill. They provided falsified evidence that the attack was a Republic-funded effort, and rather naively, Grievous believed them. To San Hill, this was an opportunity to make a second proposal. Again, in exchange for his services, Hill would fix the crippled Kalish's body and help him find vengeance against the Galactic Republic. Thus, Grievous would become the first deadly servant of a nascent confederacy. At first, the Republic was as confused as the rest of the galaxy was. Who was this strange droid general that could single-handedly destroy entire clone companies and kill Jedi with his bare hands? Who was this lumbering warlord whose armies rumbled over and through even the most resilient Republic defense? At Taipori, Grievous finally declared himself, killing Jedi Knights Barrack and Seer. As such, he would soon become the face of the Separatist military, waging war against the Republic with the same pitiless ferocity he had shown against the Yamri and the Huk. From here, scholars differ in assessing Grievous's abilities as a general. Some argue his attacks were brute force affairs that succeeded only when he had an overwhelming advantage. But others note that Grievous had to mix and match very different Separatist assets in his campaigns, and did so ably. They also note that his constant aggression and willingness to absorb terrible losses without flinching served the Separatists well. But Grievous's greatest successes would come during Operation Durge's Lance, the campaign into the core that took Duro in a devastating assault, bombarded and depopulated the ancient world of Humbarine, and unleashed a terrible plague on Low Dorvia. Soon afterward, Grievous would lead the Separatist forces along secret routes during the Deep Core to Coruscant itself, where he captured Supreme Chancellor Palpatine in a daring raid. Yet at that point, his career was near its end. Obi-Wan Kenobi would track Grievous to Utapau, crack open his chest armor, and kill the cyborg general with a blaster shot into his unprotected organs. Thus the legend of General Grievous, of Kamayan Jai Shilal, of the famed Kalish warrior that had never wanted anything more than to protect and serve the people he loved, would come to a bloody end. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.